That Frog by Tracy. Chapter 4. Consider the consequences. Every great man has become great. Every successful man has succeeded in proportion as he has confined his powers to one particular channel. Orison Swett Marden. The mark of the superior thinker is his or her ability to accurately predict the consequences of doing or not doing something. The potential consequences of any task or activity are the key determinant of how important a task really is to you and your company. This way of evaluating the significance of a task is how you determine what your next frog really is. Dr. Edward Banfield of Harvard University, after more than 50 years of research, concludes that long-term perspective is the most accurate single predictor of upward social and economic mobility in America. Long-term perspective turns out to be more important than family background, education, race, intelligence, connections, or virtually any other single factor in determining your success in life and at work. Your attitude towards time, your time horizon, has an enormous impact on your behavior and your choices. People who take a long view of their lives and careers always seem to make much better decisions about their time and activities than people who give very little thought to the future. Rule: long term thinking improves short term decision making. Successful people have a clear future orientation. They think 5, 10, and 20 years out into the future. They analyze their choices and behaviors in the present to make sure that what they are doing today is consistent with the long term future that they desire. Make better decisions about time. In your work, having a clear idea of what is really important to you in the long term makes it much easier for you to make better decisions about your priorities in the short term. By definition, something that is important has long term potential consequences. Something that is unimportant has few or no long term potential consequences. Before starting on anything, you should always ask yourself, what are the potential consequences of doing or not doing this task? Rule: future intent influences and often determines present actions. The clearer you are about your future intentions, the greater influence that clarity will have on what you do in the moment. With a clear long term vision, you are much more capable of evaluating an activity in the present to ensure that it is consistent with where you truly want to end up. Think about the long term. Successful people are those who are willing to delay gratification and make sacrifices in the short term so that they can enjoy far greater rewards in the long term. Unsuccessful people, on the other hand, think more about short term pleasure and immediate gratification while giving little thought to the long term future. Denise Waitley, a motivational speaker, says losers try to escape from their fear and drudgery with activities that are tension relieving. Winners are motivated by their desires towards activities that are goal achieving. For example, coming into work earlier, reading regularly in your field, taking courses to improve your skills, and focusing on high value tasks in your work will all combine to have an enormous positive impact on your future. On the other hand, coming into work at the last moment, reading the newspaper, drinking coffee, and socializing with your co workers may seem fun and enjoyable in the short term, but inevitably leads to lack of promotion, underachievement, and frustration in the long term. If a task or activity has large potential positive consequences, make it a top priority and get started on it immediately. If something can have large potential negative consequences, if it is not done quickly and well, that becomes a top priority as well. Whatever your frog is, resolve to gulp it down first thing. Motivation requires motive. The greater the potential positive impact that an action or behavior of yours can have on your life, once you define it clearly, the more motivated you will be to overcome procrastination and get it done quickly. Keep yourself focused and forward, moving back, continually starting and completing those tasks that can make a major difference to your company and to your future. The time is going to pass away. The only question is how you use it and where you are going to end up at the end of the weeks and months that pass. And where you end up is largely a matter of the amount of consideration you give to the likely consequences of your action in the short term. Thinking continually about the potential consequences of your choices, decisions, and behavior is one of the very best way to determine your true priorities in your work and personal life. Obey the law of forced efficiency. The law of forced efficiency says that there is never enough time to do everything, but there is always enough time to do the most important things. Put another way, you cannot eat every tadpole and frog in the pond, but you can eat the biggest and ugliest one, and that will be enough, at least for the time being. When you are running out of time and know that the consequences of not completing a key task or project can be really serious, you always seem to find the time to get it done, often at the very last minute. You start early, you stay late, and you drive yourself to complete the job rather than to face the unpleasantness that would follow if you didn't complete it within the time limit. Rule: there will never be enough time to do everything you have to do. The average person in business today, especially a manager in the age of cutbacks, is working at 110 to 130% of capacity, and the jobs and responsibilities just keep piling up. We all have stacks of reading material we still have to go through. One recent study concludes that the average executive has 300 to 400 hours of reading and projects backlogged at home and at the office. What this means is that you will never be caught up. Get the wishful idea out of your mind. All you can hope for is to be on top of your most important responsibilities that others will just have to wait. Deadlines are an excuse. Many people say that they work better under the pressure of deadlines. Unfortunately, years of research indicates that this is seldom true. Under the pressure of deadlines, often self created. Through procrastination, people suffer greater stress, make more mistakes, and have to redo more tasks than under any other condition. Often, the mistakes that people make when working under tight deadlines lead to defects and cost overruns that leads to substantial financial losses in the long term. Sometimes a job actually takes much longer to complete when people rush to get it done at the last minute and then have to redo it. It is much better to plan your time carefully in advance and then build in a sizable buffer to compensate for unexpected delays and diversions. However, much time you think a task will take, add on another 20% or more, or make a game of getting the job done well in advance of the deadline. You will be amazed at how much more relaxed you are and how much better a job you do. 3 questions for maximum productivity. You can use 3 questions on a regular basis to keep yourself focused on completing your most important task on schedule. The first question is, what are my highest value activities? Put another way, what are the biggest frogs that you have to eat to make the greatest contribution to your organization, to your family, to your life in general? This is one of the most important questions you can ask and answer. What are your highest value activities? First, think this through for yourself. Then ask your boss, ask your co-workers and subordinates, ask your friends and family. Like focusing the lens of a camera, you must be crystal clear about your highest value activities before you begin to work. The second question you can ask continually is, what can I and only I do that, if done well, will make a really difference? This question came from the later Peter Drucker, the management guru. It is one of the best of all questions for achieving personal effectiveness. What can you and only you do that, if done well, can make a real difference? This is something that you only can do. If you don't do it, it won't be done by someone else. But if you do it and you do it well, it can really make a difference to your life and your career. What is this particular frog for you? Every hour for every day, you can ask yourself this question and come up with a specific answer. Your job is to be clear about the answer and then to start and work on this task before anything else. The third question you can ask is, what is the most valuable use of my time right now? In other words, what is my biggest frog of all at this moment? This is the core question of time management. Answering this question correctly is the key to overcome procrastination and becoming a highly productive person. Every hour of every day, one task represents the most valuable use of your time at that moment. Your job is to ask yourself this question over and over again and to always be working on the answer to it, whatever it is. Two first thing, first and second thing, not at all. As Goethe says, things that matter most must never be at the mercy of things that matter least. The more accurate your answer are to these three questions, the easier it will be for you to set clear priorities, to overcome procrastination, and to get started on that one activity that represents the most valuable use of your time. Eat that frog. First, review your list of tasks, activities, and projects regularly. Continually ask yourself which one project or activity, if I did it in an excellent and timely fashion, would have the greatest positive consequences in my work or personal life. Second, determine the most important thing you could be doing every hour of every day. And then discipline yourself to work continually on the most valuable use of your time. What is this for you right now? Whatever it is that can help you the most, set it as a goal, make a plan to achieve it, and go to work on your plan immediately. Remember the wonderful word of Goethe, only engage and the mind grows heated. Begin it and the work will be completed. Thank you.